Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, November 30th, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing. Adio A Jr. Joining me is the LaCroix Poppy himself, a.k.a. Tim Ma-Wagon Geddes.
At any moment, GTA 6 is going to drop a trailer.
It's going to drop it. I mean, we're a day away from early December, technically.
Real talk,
technically, yeah.
Right? Like, that's wild, man. And I love that we know it's coming, but we still don't know exactly when. Game Awards looming. We don't think it'll be there. It could be, but it could be at any other time.
It'd be so weird if it was there.
It would
right?
Be. It would be.
It'd be weird. But also, it'd be like, I think no matter what's going to happen, it's going to be weird.
I know.
Do you think it's going to come out of nowhere, or do you think they're going to give us a warning? I think we're going to get a warning.
I think that we're going to get a warning.
Yeah, I think it is going to be tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
They're going to tell us Pacific time for sure.
You think specifically Pacific time?
Specifically Pacific time. Maybe they'll do
New York, though, right? Rockstar?
Well, they might do a Pacific / 11 a.m. ET, but I think that's even pushing it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess no, they're Rockstar. You're right. They're definitely going to give us an ET.
Yeah.
I think they'll give us both, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, put some respect on LA.
Yeah, let's
on the West Coast, you know?
Well, they should do it Florida
coast
time.
that matters. Florida? because it's probably going to be in Vice City.
Well, that would be the same as
I know,
New York.
but like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like
showing respect to LA.
The VC time, you know? VCT,
yeah, exactly. We don't know.
Vice City time. You know what I mean? It's the lore. It's the lore of GTA.
Oh, Bless, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm tired. I've been dealing with allergies for what feels like half a year.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been taking different things. I've been trying the Claritin. I've been trying the Zyrtec. None of it is hitting the way I wanted it to hit. And then I came to a realization last night that my allergies are worst when I'm at home. When I'm just sitting in my room, chilling in my room, when I first wake up in the morning, that's when it's at the worst.
You're allergic to Michael Hyam, yeah.
No, see, what I think it is I think it's the air vents. I think there's something going on, and maybe something in the other apartments is like filtering into my apartment. So now I'm like, okay, what if I can get some kind of air filter?
No.
Oh my God, please don't. Oh man, if it's mold, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I think I need to figure out some air filter situation. So that's what I've been going through this morning. What about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm a little overwhelmed with things right now. Tomorrow, Chris Anka was nice enough to invite me as his +1 to the Across the Spider-Verse Orchestra with like live orchestra, live DJ situation. Like we just did the Into the Spider-Verse, but this is the debut of Across the Spider-Verse. So very excited for that. But separate from that, last week I played a lot of my PlayStation Portal, and it was great, but not amazing. There'd be moments of like, man, if only my Wi-Fi was better. And so I was like, I haven't looked into Wi-Fi technology for quite a while. I wonder if there's anything popping off in the Wi-Fi world, Bless. And I was very surprised to find out that in the last month, Wi-Fi 7 came out.
Wait, no, you're not going to tell me there were 6 of them.
I know, I was saying,
there
are we on still Wi-Fi 1?
Wait. So I need the breakdown. Give me the breakdown.
So, I mean, I'm very, very overly simplifying this, but essentially there's just been different protocols of Wi-Fi going on over the last, decades at this point. But like the 2.4, I think it is, gigahertz, the 5 gigahertz, you know, like that stuff. That's those bands, I think, kind of represented the different eras. But really, like Wi-Fi 5 was when mesh started, you know, when you have like the home mesh units, which I imagine you have in your house. Like, that's kind of like the more like modern day standard. Wi-Fi 6 and then 6 Plus were kind of like taking that mesh and like really making it better and like having it be like, all right, cool, now we're going to elevate this shit. Wi-Fi 7, though. They're just like, hey, motherfuckers, we're going all crazy. We're going crazy with the throughput and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. It is wildly expensive, like unbelievably expensive. But I was like, you know what? I want to try it. Like, I'm just gonna buy it. Best Buy has a great return policy, especially during the holiday season, which starts now. So I can try this thing out for 45 days and then return it if I want. So I was like, fuck it, let's just see what happens. Bought it. It totally destroyed my internet in my house. Everything was bad for the last 24 hours, and I was about to cry. But then, all of a sudden, Bless, I got it working. And then I was about to cry again because I looked down at my Wi-Fi speeds on my phone.
Oh my God.
My Wi-Fi.
Oh my God.
Was 936 megabytes per second down, 804 megabytes per second up. Wi-Fi 7, everybody.
That's
the future
insane.
is now.
That's like having like an SSD for your connection. That's wild.
It's insane.
You're like playing fighting games, seeing the future. Like you're seeing moves that they have you put an input
busting out the Portal on it. Didn't get to play too long last night with it, but I was just like, oh, Oh, this thing is singing right now.
Oh my God.
So anyway, shout out to Wi-Fi 7, everybody.
Is it one of those things where like in a few years I'm going to be able to get Wi-Fi 7 and like not have it be 100%. So expensive?
Yeah, I'm willing to bet in the next year and a half you'll be able to get a 2-router mesh pack for like $200, $300 max.
Okay.
But yeah, right now wouldn't necessarily recommend buying it because it's pretty damn expensive. But it's good.
That's awesome. Well, there you go. That's the future. Let's talk about the future of video games, Tim. Because today's stories include Dan Houser's new projects, Capcom's first $70 game, and more. Because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on YouTube.com/KindaFunnyGames and Twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to kindafunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, patreon.com/kindafunny will get you the show ad-free, plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you, a new Kinda Funny Xcast is up where Mike and Parris are joined by Garalt of Rivia to talk about what Xbox could bring to the Game Awards.
I hate this with every part of my being because Gary Whitta, like this, looks 100% identical to my mother.
Oh,
this is how my mom.
Way.
This is exactly how my mom looks right now.
You should talk to Gary. Be like, hey, dude,
something's going on.
You got a second family? Like, what's going on? What's your secret identity?
Kevin took a picture of it yesterday and he brought it over to me. He's like, Tim, this is weird, right? And I was like, fuck, it's really weird.
Did you see the skit? Because I saw him post too. It was either his TikTok or his Instagram, but I saw him post a clip of him doing him playing the role of Garalt of Rivia, and he was calling out Greg Miller and the PC stuff. And I didn't realize Gary, pretty good actor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I was like, oh snap. He's actually killing this role. Like, he's fully into it. Like, he's making the bits. He's actually pretty funny. And he's delivering it really well. And it had me like, damn, I got to step up my own content, you know?
Love him so much.
I got to work out my own content muscle.
He stuck to the bit for the entire Xcast as well. There were a couple times where he almost broke, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to stick with it. But yeah, shout out to Gary.
Shout out to Gary. I did have a moment yesterday because we have TVs in the office where sometimes we'll put on the content that's being recorded live in the studio. And in the office, I'm seated as far away from that TV as possible. And I look up and I see Roger look up, and we're both I think Roger was for a second, for a very split second, we were like, is that Alana? And we were like, that's not Alana. And then we look closer, we're like, oh, that's Gary. It was just the fact that it was the white hair where we were like, who is that on the TV? And they were like, oh, that's Gary Whitta. Strange.
Lemon Brady in the chat just said, Tim just exposed himself for having a hot mom. Let's get to the news.
Let's get to more housekeeping. Ever wondered how weird Greg was as a kid? Of course you have. We have an answer.
Of course you have.
The second episode of Greg's Childhood Home Videos is live right now on youtube.com/kindafunny. If you enjoy it, all the episodes are live right now over on patreon.com/kindafunny, so you don't have to wait week to week to watch a new episode. And then today's the last day you can still get Nerf Alice's iconic shirtless Spider-Man shirt as the premium collector's item this month. You can get yours over on patreon.com/kindafunny. And then speaking of Patreon, over on Patreon, a new member blank is up where we remember our favorite games of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very fun conversation.
I'm very interested in that conversation with you, and we'll have this conversation at a later date.
Yeah.
But Breath of the Wild is your favorite game of all time. You've said that since I've known you. And I think you like Tears of the Kingdom better, but does it make it your favorite?
And that's the conversation we have on the show.
Wow.
I can give you the answer right now. I don't mind spoiling it.
Go for it.
So I stuck with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Mainly for the experience that I had playing Breath of the Wild, right? Like, it was the fact that this is my first time stepping into this kind of Zelda game, this kind of Zelda world. I still have memories of my first time encountering Kakariko, my first time going to Death Mountain, my first time being on the Great Plateau, looking around. Like, so many of those firsts in Breath of the Wild speak so strongly. I think Tears of the Kingdom is a better game, right? Like, I think it's very hard for me to argue that there isn't a part of Tears of the Kingdom that isn't an elevated version of what Breath of the Wild does. But yeah, for this conversation, I stuck with Breath of the Wild with the caveat of, ask me a year from now. Ask me a couple years from now.
I can't wait.
Let my opinions on Tears settle and all that. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is still up there for me. And I also did the thing, because every time I talk about Breath of the Wild, people call out that I pronounce breath with a F. And I've tried to pronounce it with the TH, and I cannot.
Yeah.
Like when I say it all together.
I get it. There's a lot of, it's the sequencing of the letters.
Yeah, I think it's that plus the shape of my mouth. Like it is really tough for me to say Breath of the Wild. Like it's just way easier. It just rolls off the tongue easier if I say Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So I understand I'm wrong, everybody. That is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Jackson Hampton and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 7 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. Absurd Ventures announces original IP universes, American Caper, and A Better Paradise. This is from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Absurd Ventures, the company founded by Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser, has announced the creation of 2 original storytelling universes, American Caper and A Better Paradise. Stories and characters from these universes will debut in a graphic novel and audio fiction series, respectively. Both are slated for release in 2024. Additional stories from these universes are in development for a wide range of formats and platforms. Quote, we're excited to introduce these 2 universes and their characters and lore, said Houser in a press release. They represent our approach to storytelling and media. These initial releases will allow us to introduce these universes at the same time as we're working on other iterations and expansions. This is just the beginning, end quote. I'm gonna pause the story there. Because this comes at an interesting moment. Because earlier in the week, I believe it was me and Greg who were talking about Dan Houser and this new studio that he's founded, right? Absurd Ventures, and how the recent news stories has been that Laszlo, who's historic for his work, or known for his work on Grand Theft Auto, right? Doing the radio show, but also doing a lot of writing work and all that stuff on the GTA franchise. He's joined Absurd Ventures. There's been more people from Rockstar, like key people at Rockstar, that have joined Absurd Ventures, which launched this conversation of what is going on over there. Are we going to see a GTA competitor type situation? Are we going to see big funding? Like they talk about these different kinds of media and all this stuff. What is the vision at Absurd Ventures, Dan Houser's new spot? Have you thought about this? Like, is this a thing that you've been paying attention to?
Totally. And it's interesting because like my gut, without knowing too much, I would think no. I would think that they're not trying to do that. They've done that for so long at this point that they'd want to do something different. I imagine something smaller because you literally don't get bigger than Grand Theft Auto Online specifically. So I would imagine that they want to do something that is a bit still in their wheelhouse, but like something that's more of a contained, smaller project. And especially now hearing about them wanting to make it a universe, like to me, that kind of says, hey, we don't want to spend 10 years working on one game.
I want to, take us into what these 2 projects are, because there's an overview of each of the universes. So starting off with American Caper. Centers on 2 normal, badly damaged American families in a world of corrupt business, inept politics, and bungling crime. Bungling. American Caper will debut as a graphic novel that is being illustrated by renowned comic book artist Simon Bisley. And then there's A Better Paradise, right? The other project. An existential suspense thriller set in the near future. A 12-episode audio fiction series based on a better universe is currently in production. Absurd Ventures is partnering with award-winning audio company Q Code Media to co-produce the audio series. Now, again, I find these both interesting just for the fact of they talk about wanting to expand these into different mediums, trying to do different things, right? I think eventually both these things are going to be video games. And I think that's fascinating, right? The idea that as Dan Houser, and we talk about like creatives finding different ways to do things, people, especially people with influence and power and who have been seasoned in this industry, being able to have the luxury of trying different things. I look at Kojima, for example, who like made a Death Stranding video game about delivering packages in a post-apocalyptic world and building bridges and shit. Weird ass shit, but he has the luxury to do it because he's Hideo Kojima. I find this interesting.
The Death Stranding references, without spoiling anything, in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off were so good.
Oh, excellent. But I look at these and I'm like, like I am curious about the idea of, hey, we are launching some of these IP with a 12-episode audio drama, or like a graphic novel, and like we eventually see these getting maybe television series, maybe movies. I think because it's Dan Houser and because it's Laszlo and because I think they've talked about video games and their things before, we're probably gonna get games out of these things. I don't know. I just find it interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because like in a world where universes and IP universes are just it makes you kind of like
Yeah.
repel a little bit. You're like, man, like I don't know if I want that. Like never forget the dark universe and all of that. And even
Rest
where
in
we're
peace.
at with superheroes, even with some of the bigger, more successful universes, there's questions of like, is it too much? Or is it already too much? Has it been too much? All of that. Like it's annoying how many conversations we've had about it at this point. So when you try to force that into a video game as well, that's complicated. Having said that, we are talking about a group of people that have done it organically in the past, and how they're doing it here seems to be potentially a really smart way to start building brand awareness of these projects and then partnering with the award-winning audio company to co-produce an audio series. That's how you do this. We always talk about Marvel games and how they partner with the different studios, like Insomniac makes Spider-Man, right? Like find the right teams for the right projects. And it sounds like they're trying to do that outside of games, which is exciting to me. When you look back at the GTA 3 trilogy, like Grand Theft Auto is one of the most important franchises of all time. Duh. But for so many more reasons than we even give it credit for, like, I don't think we talk enough about the fact that GTA Vice City came out with like a 10 CD collection of all the radio station songs. You know what I mean? Like, and that was like a big like premier product that they put out and pushed. Like I remember video game magazines covering that as if it was like a release. And it's because GTA cared so much, not just about the game and its world, but about the multimedia side of it. And like, how important is music to Grand Theft Auto?
Oh yeah.
You know, to nailing the decade and the feel of all that, especially of the GTA 3 trilogy. So Rockstar, they have the business mindset to pull this off. And in a way that feels like, because of Laszlo, because of the radio DJ hosts and all that, like it felt like it's not just a collection of music. It felt like there was a narrative to it. It felt like it's part of the world of Grand Theft Auto. I think that this is awesome that they're trying to do this. I wouldn't think that about most people though.
Yeah.
Like you bringing up Kojima, it's like Kojima is one of the few people surrounded by a team of people that he was able to bring with him that we kind of just trust to, hey, he got it. But let them do whatever they want to do. I feel like this is a group and that's only continuing to grow, it seems, of people that, yeah, they're going to have a vision and I think it's going to hit.
Yeah. It's one that I'm keeping my eye on for sure. Right? I think the tough thing about it is we look at other examples of companies in video games that have tried to push other mediums, whether it be like, let's do a limited podcast thing or let's do a graphic novel. I look at The Quarry, and The Quarry had like a podcast thing that went down. I never listened to that, and I love The Quarry, and I don't really know many people that went and listened to that thing, right? The same with Close to Protocol that had like, I think they had a podcast as well. I think Greg Miller actually listened to the podcast, but that was something that I couldn't be bothered to do, and I wonder how many audiences will be bothered to check out something like this, right? I think with that, you want the name brand, you want the name recognition. I know when we talk about Kojima, Kojima has that, right? I think a Sam Lake right now is somebody who has that. If Sam Lake put out a 10-episode podcast series that took place within the Remedy connected universe, I think people would listen to that. I don't know if Dane Houser, you have to earn that, right? Yeah. Dane Houser, even though he's been around long enough to have earned it, when I think of GTA, I don't necessarily think about the Houser brothers. I more so just think about Rockstar as an entity.
Totally. I'm there with you. I think it's different though, where the Sam Lakes or Kojimas in different ways, like people might listen to them and because they're doing it, they're going to be involved. Whereas I think that these people just have the inherent talent and vision to make products and projects that people are going to want. And I can see this audio thing not necessarily being made for gamers, but being made for people that listen to audio dramas and kind of getting word of mouth there to create the IP. Not working backwards from games, but working towards games from something else. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, and you don't need to know the Houser brothers to know that matters. I see the potentially a better paradise becoming a hit in a place outside of games. Maybe not. I'm not saying that's like the most likely thing, but everything they're saying here, I'm like, I'm not betting against it.
Yeah. I also like the fact that I look at these and I'm like, these are going to come out. Like, I could see these happening within the next year.
Yes.
Right?
That's a great point.
And, like, video games are a thing that take a while to get going, especially if you are trying to have a studio that wants to spin up multiple projects. That is going to take you a while to do, especially as a new studio. If they, as a new studio, were like, hey, let's start making new games, we're not going to see those games for at least 5 years. And I'm sure Dan Houser and probably Laszlo, too, are like, well, we've worked on GTA 6 for 10 years, right? Like, we've not had a sequel to GTA 5 in 10 years. Of course, Red Dead Redemption 2 comes in between those, but those are 5-year dev cycles we're talking about between those things. I'm sure as a creative, you want people to get eyes on what you're working on, right? You want people to experience your creative product. And with that, yeah, like I think we'll get this podcast. I think we'll get this graphic novel, and maybe on top of that, like the next year, we get a TV series or we get something else, especially if these things are successful. No telling if these are going to be successful yet. You know, like that's going to have to be a big wait and see. But if they are, I think that's where you slowly start to go, all right, now let's keep feeding them. Let's keep feeding them. And now finally, like we have a game ready, and now here's your game, right? And it could be an open world GTA game type situation. It could be something like As Dusk Falls that we got last
100%.
year. That's a narrative, 2D weird thing. That's choose your own adventure. But I think that's what you want in the space, right? You want people to be able to do different things and have different ideas, and you want even people who are seasoned in the industry and have like a history in the industry to be able to go, all right, I've done the big AAA thing with my talents. I've made the thing that's like, the sales that has the sales power that people want. Now I'm gonna make something that I want, right? I think that's the thing that you want to see as well. And so curious about it, keeping my eye on it. I'm also keeping my eye on GTA 6. I want that trailer.
Yeah.
Where's that damn trailer?
Yeah.
Drop it. What if we just dropped tomorrow? What if they're like, when we said early December, we meant the earliest you could possibly see in December.
Midnight tonight, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Story number 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 will be Capcom's first $70 game. This is Isaiah Colbert at IGN. During Capcom's special Dragon's Dogma 2 showcase yesterday, we not only learned the release date for the hotly anticipated sequel action role-playing game. That's a weird organization for those words. But we also learned it will be the company's first $70 game. The PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam standard editions of the game are all listed at $70 US, with the deluxe edition being priced at $80. Tim, it continues to happen. Are you ready to ride in the streets? Are you ready to pick up your pitchforks?
No, I mean, I think this is where we're at, and I'm surprised that this is Capcom's first game, but I feel like we're just slowly inching there where it's just going to become the norm for games like that, and doesn't surprise me at all. Is there any other take you have on it?
No, the only take I have is like, get it out the way now so you can charge $70 for Monster Hunter. Yeah, because that's what they really want to do. Like Dragon's Dogma is going to do well for $70, I think, right? But I think Dragon's Dogma is still a bit more niche. I think it is. Hey, let's do it now. I think with RE4, maybe it gets harder because people see it as a remake. And RE Village before that was cross-gen, right? That was one that came out on PS4.
Totally.
So I think this is actually this has been their first chance to do something like this. And yeah, I think they're like, hey, let's do it when we can, so that when we finally put out Monster Hunter and we know we're going to sell 10 million units or whatever it is, we're able to go, all right, and it's $70 and make a bunch of money off that. And so I see the vision.
Yeah, and it's interesting here with the deluxe edition being priced at $80. I don't know exactly what's coming with the deluxe edition here, but I do think it's interesting that in recent times, I feel like collector's editions as the price of games has gotten higher and higher towards that $70 point, I feel like the collector's editions, there's always going to be the crazy $130 whatever ones, but I feel like the just deluxe edition is just $10 more, where I feel like it used to be more than that. Like, I don't know, there's something about it that I'm like, I wonder if that's going to stay the same, or if they found their sweet spot, or if we're going to start seeing the collector's editions, like the average rise up to like $90 or something. But,
yeah. I mean, from the outside looking in, I'm somebody who never really buys the collector's editions. Like even like when I was in my heyday of being in Best Buy Gamers Club Ultimate, or I butchered that, but like being the Best Buy thing, right? Like I would buy physical games all the time. I couldn't care less about the special editions. If the choice was between, I have a $70 option for a regular edition, and then $80 will get me like some extra things with it, I might be inclined to actually push for the $80.
And that's the thing. I think that might be the strategy, right? Like maybe cut out all the extra bullshit that they add for the collector's editions and just be like, hey, let's give them a couple fucking outfits. Let's give them
some stickers,
something that they might actually like want in the game. And just the way human brain works, it's like, all right, I'll upgrade to $80.
And I think when you talk about how much digital sales are taking over as well, I think, if somebody's going physical already, there's a reason why they want to go physical. Like they might be somebody who's collecting, they might be somebody who just likes the tangibility of it. And if they like that, I think they're more likely in the camp of somebody who wants a deluxe edition or a special edition of a thing.
But even then though, I feel like digital deluxe edition is like, that's made its way into gaming lexicon. Like that I feel like is an expectation for games to have. And man, they fucking did it, bless.
Is that weird though?
They slowly over time just made it all happen, and we're just like, yeah, this is the standard.
Because I've never
got us.
Again, I'm such not a deluxe edition person, so I've never thought that deeply about it. But like digital deluxe editions, What's in there?
I mean, it's
soundtrack.
Yeah, it'll be like soundtrack. It'll be
Extra
like weird
costumes.
PDF costumes and like
what are we doing?
gun skins and shit like that. Yeah.
In-game currency.
Is that what we're doing though? Like,
Yes, that's what we're doing.
That's what we've been doing.
The absolute
is that
minimum.
not whack? Like, let's be
it's
real
whack
here.
as shit.
Yeah.
Just get the physical deluxe edition. It comes with a cool steel book, probably. You
No
know,
game inside.
a little game, maybe a little
Everyone's
statue.
No game. I'm saying no game inside.
Oh yeah, no game inside. You're right.
Yeah. Remember back in the day where they had
What are
to
we
cancel like the Batman Arkham Knight like statue because like the quality of the statue was like really bad or some shit. Fucking
Remember
wild.
Fallout 76 and how the bag
yes.
was a
Oh,
bad
yeah.
material and people were mad, like really mad.
God. I remember when I pre-ordered Wind Waker on GameCube and I got a GameCube disc that had Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on it and Zelda 1 and Zelda 2.
Fuck yeah.
And it's like,
Let's
God
go.
damn. Let's bring back those days.
Let's go.
'Cause that was
Meanwhile,
fucking awesome.
I
And
order-
Master Quest. Come on.
I order a physical Nintendo game. They give me a little coin. I don't know what to do with this little coin. You remember those? You
oh,
get
yeah.
those?
Oh, of course.
What am I supposed to do with that thing?
I don't know.
When I got Overwatch the physical edition, and this wasn't even like the digital, like the deluxe. It was just like the regular $50 Founders Edition of Overwatch. It had like a license plate thing in there. I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? And I don't want to throw it away because I don't know, like it seems like something somebody wants to have, and so I just keep it in a bin in my closet. And now my bin is just full of just crap.
Yeah.
And I hate when they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Like some of these, the Final Fantasy 16 stuff is just, I wanted to get some of it because I'm like, I love this game. This is fucking cool. But I'm also like, do I really need a cloth map?
Oh, don't get me
No.
started.
I love a good cloth map though.
The
The only two I have though are the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok because those are just so fucking cool.
not a cloth map, but like a different kind of map. I did appreciate GTA's. GTA's usually came with like the in-game map as like a poster.
yeah, and then the poster on
And
the
then
other
like
side.
on the other
That
side
was
of the
sick.
map, it was basically the
Not a
cover
collector's
art.
edition.
But that
though.
was just the
something
manual, right? That was just in the fucking thing.
Yeah, you're right. It was just
Yeah.
part. It was like another thing that was next to the manual, which
So
I was going to
cool.
reference earlier because you were talking about like the multimedia aspect of GTA. I always appreciated, at least for GTA San Andreas. I don't remember what the other ones were, but San Andreas manual was basically kind of like a tour guide thing
Yeah.
for
So
San
sick.
Andreas. Cool as hell. I remember when I first got that game, it was like the morning before school where like my uncle was like, hey, I got this game that you're gonna like, and he like bought it for me and like delivered it like one of the mornings he was over, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I've heard of. I didn't say hell yeah because I was a kid, but I was like, I've heard of this game. I'm very excited for this. I took the manual and just brought the manual to school and just read it during class because I was so excited to
Hell
play
yeah.
that game when I
love
got
that,
home.
dude. I love that so much. I remember like Mario All Stars, which was the first game I actually owned. I took the manual to school and I just read the manual for Super Mario Bros. front to back,
We were
just
so
over
simple.
and over. We were so
Like, we were
simple.
pleased
There was
by the
no
smallest
internet.
things.
There was
Yeah.
no anything. We were just seeing little pictures of Mario in different poses. I'm like, that's cool. I'm gonna
Like-
get that power up one day.
Ask me any of the games that I own physically. Do they even have manuals in there? I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was obsessed over every single
They're so
aspect
cool,
of these
man.
games, dude. Man, let me tell you what you should be obsessed with. Patreon.com/kindafunny. Over on patreon.com/kindafunny, we got a lot of content over there that you can be obsessed with, like Kinda Funny, like the Next Gen Podcast, and so much more. But you can also be obsessed with getting shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. 'Tis the season of giving. Get the perfect gift for a special someone, yourself, or both. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades and quick swap snow goggles that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. You already know I've been out Pokemon going, and Shady Rays have been making me look as dope as I want out in the real world. And that's not all. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Shady Rays is currently in their biggest sale of the year for Black Friday. Don't miss out on the best deals for shades, snow goggles, and prescription sunglasses. You can go to shadyrays.com and try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Again, that's shadyrays.com for their biggest sale of the year.
And we're back.
We're fucking back, everyone.
He just said a bad word after an ad.
Ah!
Look at you. Now, who is it? Shady
It's
Rays? They're
not
going to be so mad at us.
I'm gonna be so mad.
We're sorry,
I'm
Shady Rays.
Shady Rays.
Story number 3. CD Projekt says New and hotly anticipated gameplay elements are coming to Cyberpunk 2077. This is Tom Ivan at VGC. A Cyberpunk 2077 update releasing next week will feature new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements. Update 2.1.
Why'd you laugh at that?
This is hotly anticipated.
It's like when Keeley says raw gameplay.
Yeah, it's like new and hotly anticipated. What's going to be in there that's so hotly anticipated?
Maybe I can finally play the game stealthily.
It's like, first of all, oh, okay. Actually, I get it. I was going to say that, like,
I still want to play that game like it's Deus Ex, and I still can't play that game like it's fucking Deus Ex.
I was going to say, I don't know what I have left on my list of things for Cyberpunk that would be, like, hotly anticipated for me.
Zio VGM says third-person mode.
I guess.
You get to see your V.
You're right. I don't get to see my
I
V.
feel like
they got
would have to
mirrors.
completely rework.
They have hella mirrors in that game.
They have hella mirrors in that game. You'd have to completely rework like how like shooting feels.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like, I think if it went third person, then like all of a sudden the character animation looks. People are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but it's true. The character animation is gonna look like a Bethesda game. And I don't want that. I don't want like oh man, because it's first person and third person, we have to make sure that like all the motion of the characters have to, align with what it's going to be. And the arms are going to have to stay here and go here. It's like, oh no, I don't want that. If you're going to make a third person game, just make it third person. That's my hot take for the day.
Yeah. We can wrap it up, everybody.
Wrap it up.
This is hot take. Ba-da-ba-ba-bow.
Bow bow.
Update 2.1 will launch alongside Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition on December 5th. Quest director Powell Sasko and producer Monica Janoska will be discussing the update during a Twitch live stream on December 1st at 7 a.m. Pacific time.
Sick.
CD Projekt announced Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition earlier this month, bundling the base game with its Phantom Liberty expansion. It'll be released digitally and physically in select markets. Cool. Story number 4. Earthbound creator says Nintendo considered Mother 3 translation, but it was complicated. This is Kat Bailey and Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Strap on.
I can't wait to hear.
I said strap on. I meant strap up. Strap in. Strap in. It's not a Friday. It's a Thursday.
I know it is a Thursday, but what? How's it complicated? Let's see.
And also, I was okay. Strap in because this is a longer one. But it's a fun one. So strap in. Mother 3 is one of the most hotly desired RPGs ever, having never received an official translation in North America, despite the cult popularity of its predecessor, Earthbound. Rumors of an official localization persisted for years, with Nintendo even creating a parody video in which former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé blows up a journalist asking about the release. I don't remember this.
Oh, yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah, that was like... There was an era of the Nintendo Directs where they went wild. Remember the puppet one?
I do remember the puppet one, like a fever dream.
Yeah.
But over the years, series creator Shigesato Itoi has never weighed in on the discussion, at least until now. In the brand new documentary titled Earthbound USA, Itoi finally opens up about the release of the long-desired sequel, saying he would love for people in the US to play Mother 3. Quote, I've talked about it with Nintendo before. Apparently, they were presented with the offer to use the translation, but they said it wasn't quite as simple as that. I think it'd be really interesting if they took up the offer. It'd be hard to make something like that. It'd be hard to make something like, say, an automobile with fans, but doing it with software, I believe there'd be a chance to make something that would be better than what the company could have made on their own, end quote.
What the?
What part of that?
just like... bringing up an automobile?
Like, hey, I mean, he's not wrong. He'd be hard to make an automobile. If me and you, Tim, try to make an automobile with our fans,
no, man.
Do you know how hard that would be?
It would be real bad, but if we just had to translate a game, we can do that.
Like, unless they worked at like an automobile maker, you know what I mean? Then it'd probably be easier. But if we just picked up some random fans, it'd be hard.
It would be hard.
Quote, usually when I'm done with something, I'm done with it for good. You can't give up on projects you're in the middle of, but when you put an end to something, it's best just to leave it alone. The older you get, the more stories there are for you, end quote. Put that way, it sounds like Itoi would genuinely like for there to be a Mother 3 localization, but is reluctant to return to work on the project himself, as he considers it a closed chapter in his life. Notably, his pinning the decision on Nintendo is consistent with other stories we've heard over the years. The game's producer, Shinichi Kamioka, told Nintendo Everything being a name of the outlet, last year that he'd also love to see Mother 3 released in the US and Europe, and that he continues to wait for a worldwide English release. And former Nintendo president Reggie Fils-Aimé said the decision not to localize it was based on the business needs and the business situation at the time when he was asked about it last year. Knowing that, it seems like the onus really is on Nintendo for this one. So feel free to keep holding up giant localized Mother 3 signs at every wrestling event. Maybe someday they'll change their minds. But sad as it is from other fans that Itoi is seemingly done being involved, he seems so happy with himself as an artist that it's hard to argue with him. So basically, the whole story, it's Nintendo's fault.
You think he's about to go make some cars?
You think that's where that comment came from?
I don't know.
Like, listen, all right, I've been looking at the cars a lot recently, and let me tell you, all right, this Mother 3 translation, I don't think it's kind of easy. Do you know what would be hard? Making a car with fans.
You know how every once in a while we get to the Out Today section of this show, and then we say the name of a game, and we're like, wait, what? That's out already? Like, that's coming out today? That sounds wrong. Or there'll be times where it's like, wait, didn't that come out like 3 years ago? And it's like, no, it just never came out. Mother 3 is one that, for some reason, I have convinced myself that we won and that it's been out for years. Like, I mean, how has it not fucking happened? And I understand we just read a news story explaining how. I still don't get it, though. I don't fucking get it.
I think at this point, like, kind of to your point, it's been so long that we even got the fan translation of Mother 3 that if Nintendo released an official version of that fan translation, how many more people would even play it? How many of us have already just played the fan translation who've wanted to play it?
I mean, yeah, I do not think in any way, shape, or form Mother 3 would be a mega hit.
Yeah.
I think everybody understands that, and that's fine. Doesn't need to be. But we got Star Fox 2 released.
Yeah.
An unfinished, unreleased game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, hey, we're going to put out the Super NES, whatever the hell, mini, classic, tiny little guy.
And it's now, isn't it also available on Nintendo Switch Online at this point as well?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Star Fox 2?
Maybe, yeah, that'd be interesting. But like,
one.
I never thought we'd actually get that officially released. But we did. And we don't have Mother 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, not weird, because again, the story explains it. And based on the comment from Reggie Fils-Aimé, it is based on, like, you know, think about the way Nintendo works. Yeah, like, I get it. Like, Earthbound isn't your highest selling franchise. There's, you know, even when you're digging deep into the Duffy of Nintendo IP to bring back or flesh out or whatever, you get to a Pikmin before you get to an Earthbound. Weirdly enough, because, like, I don't know, man. I care way more about an Earthbound than a Pikmin. But I understand, though, right? Like, hey, like, you know, Pikmin is more active. We know we have a fan base for Pikmin. If we know if we bring back Pikmin, we're going to sell at least 3 million. If you bring back Earthbound, I think they just don't know. Like, I think they just don't have faith in the idea of it.
So, again, just put it on Nintendo Switch Online. Especially since recently they just started adding Game Boy Advance games. Just implement the fan translation there. Boom. And then see how many, like, what's the uptick in subscriptions and stuff just to play that.
I agree. Like, the fact that we got F-Zero 99.
That's totally different, though.
How?
That's a new game.
I get, yeah. Well, but like, I think just bring back the IP though, because F-Zero for me is one where, what was the last F-Zero game on the GameCube?
GX, yeah. I mean, technically it was a GBA. I think it was Maximum Velocity.
Yeah, that's so long ago.
Yeah.
And like, you bring it, and I like, again, F-Zero 99, fantastic idea, like fantastic iteration of it, and I think it makes sense. Hey, we have this 99 brand, this Battle Royale brand. We use it to, you know, flesh out old IP. F-Zero fits the bill. Let's do it. Earthbound, you can't really make an Earthbound 99.
Let's go. Why not?
Just all turn-based battles with each other.
Metroid Dread after like 14 years of it being just on ice.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I think we won't know until it happens if they put out a brand new Earthbound. That would be the only like real test of this. Because like just putting out Mother 3, it's going to be what it is, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think Earthbound hits as hard as like any of the franchises you're even talking about here. In
like
terms
Pikmin
of
or F-Zero?
Yeah.
I mean,
like F-Zero, but no, even then, I think F-Zero beats it.
My counter argument is how many games take influence from Earthbound nowadays, right? Like Undertale.
Name one other.
Then Undertale?
Yeah.
Sea of Stars.
no, that's no.
Sea of Stars
a little
more
bit.
Chrono
More Chrono Trigger. I get, well, there's like the In Stars in Time, and there's the Everwild. No, not Everwild. That's the one that's unreleased from Rare. There's an Ever game that Imran really
Sounds
likes.
like you're naming a whole bunch of 10 million plus sellers.
Yeah. Well, no, these aren't 10 million plus sellers, except for Undertale. But Undertale is still my point, right? The fact that Undertale has such a cult, and not even cult following, has such a following, right? Like, people love Undertale. People mess with it, right? People are like highly anticipated the next thing. I think the only other RPG in that style that has like the weird quirky energy that would be able to stand up to that is an Earthbound. Like I think if you bring back an Earthbound, it could have Undertale levels of success to it.
Yeah, it there's a lot of coulds there, and you're not wrong. I just feel like I think that a more apt comparison would be to like Fire Emblem, specifically because of the Smash side of it all, where like Super Smash Brothers is how the majority of people know Marth or Ness.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think that's debatable. So they followed that up by releasing the Fire Emblem games like over time, but it really wasn't until Awakening and then Three Houses that it's like, all right, cool. Fire Emblem is a freaking hit franchise for Nintendo. Those games sell incredibly well, and they can keep putting them out and they keep selling well. We haven't seen that. Like, we just never got more Earthbound, and I don't, because of we haven't, and it's been so long, I don't know that it hits that way. They would need a like the Three Houses moment for an Earthbound for that to really pop off, and I just don't. I don't have faith in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about it. Like, I feel like that's just a harder. The expectations are loftier.
So in chat, people were asking somebody said Eastward. Eastward is not what I was referring to, but Eastward is also a good example. I was thinking of Everhood. And like again, none of the games I'm mentioning are crazy sellers, but there are games that have good reception that people look forward to. And like I think there's a brand of RPG that people like there. I think the thing that in terms of what you're talking about, right? I think you're right. But I do think that at its core, when you talk about Earthbound, it's just a JRPG, and JRPGs are a popular genre, right? Or at least they have an audience that flock to it. Nintendo loves making JRPGs. I know Xenoblade Chronicles on another level. I don't think an Earthbound is going to sell as much as Xenoblade Chronicles, but like, you know, Nintendo isn't veering away from making JRPGs. I think Earthbound also just has the uniqueness factor to it too.
Absolutely,
that it's weird, it's quirky, it's like everything about its style is distinct, and I think that does hit. Like I think I don't think it's a surefire bet, but I think there is a version of Earthbound that does really, if you make a new one that does really well, that sells 7 million.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like there's so many things that would need to line up and check out. Like I feel like an Earthbound can't just come out and be pretty good. It would need to be mind blowing. And I feel like Undertale kind of did it. Like I think that's almost like Undertale I think works against Earthbound, not for it. And yeah, especially with how dominant Xenoblade has become over the last couple iterations of the franchise. Like I feel like that more anime-inspired JRPG is when those are good, the expectations are in a different place. Where I feel like it's more primed and ready to be a hit, critically and sales-wise. Whereas the quirky, gimmicky, more like we're just normal people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I think that's just a much tougher sell, and especially when the indies have done it right. Like I think like it's a similar thing we talk about a lot of like how do you put out a 2D platformer, like a first party 2D platformer nowadays and have it really compete with what the smaller indie teams have done over the years, because like there's just a different understanding of what makes that shit tick.
I don't know. I think if you can do it with Pikmin, I understand Pikmin's a different genre or whatever, but Pikmin is so fucking weird. Like if you can make something as weird as Pikmin work for its audience and like sell it.
But Pikmin's not.
I think Earthbound is more. I think Earthbound is more palpable than Pikmin.
No way. But Pikmin's just a strategy game, though. Like all the weirdness isn't what makes like Pikmin. I don't even know what you mean by Pikmin being weird.
I guess like I look
Earthbound's weird. Pikmin's not weird.
But Earthbound is weird and like the aesthetic is weird. Earthbound, though, at its core, it's just a JRPG with a story that's like the story that's
weird.
like sci-fi. Okay, the story's weird.
Yeah.
But like I guess for me as someone who's not played Pikmin, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like playing as a little spaceman with like your little fucking plant creatures that follow you and you throw them, and like I look at that and I'm like, that's such a specific game that is not for me, and I feel like it's for a very specific audience.
Pikmin's fucking
I think Pikmin's weird.
As hell. Yeah, it's one of the more like I would put it on the same level of.
No way. Look,
yeah,
here's
dude,
100%. Pikmin's as weird as Mario's weird. He's an Italian plumber that eats a mushroom and gets big and fights turtles and goes down pipes. None of these things.
But you're right. But like with Mario, the weirdness of Mario stuck around so long that it's not weird anymore, right? Like every kid and everybody like understands what Mario is, and you look at it, and you look at that aesthetic and IP, and you're like, oh, that's Mario. I get it. We understand it. The mushroom makes him bigger. It's great. Pikmin, like you show Pikmin to a mom and they get scared. They're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, that's my kid. Like, Pikmin is fucking weird.
Look, we're using a word.
If I showed
a child brings Pikmin to their parents taking them to fucking like church.
If you show a normal person like 5 seconds of gameplay of Pikmin and 5 seconds of gameplay of Earthbound, they get the exact same thing. They're like, are those the same game? Because both of those are fucking weird. What you just showed me.
I see. Look, the word weird, like it's so weirdly subjective when it comes to this stuff that it almost doesn't matter. But I think that for the intent of the word of what we're talking about, I think that Earthbound, like it's a core tenet of that game that it's weird. Whereas Pikmin, it's like some of the things about Pikmin undeniably are weird in the same way it is for Mario, the same way it is for other things. But like, I think that it is a goal for Earthbound to be weird.
I guess. I don't know. I think that's part of its charm. Like,
Absolutely.
But yeah, and
100%.
I mean, and do the same thing for Pikmin. I think Pikmin's weirdness is part of its charm, right? I
don't know.
I think when we were talking about the gameplay of both these games, again, both of them are straightforward, and I would argue that Earthbound's gameplay is more straightforward than Pikmin's gameplay.
Yeah, but I think you're touching on like where I'm at with this, where it's like the point of Earthbound is its story, and its story is weird. Whereas Pikmin, the weirdness is just an aesthetic around a strategy.
Okay,
game.
Sure, yeah, okay.
You know, whereas
like
with the RPG side of it, it's like the story is so much more important than the Pikmin story.
Yeah, okay, I feel that. But I don't know. I think that works to its benefit. I think the weirdness of Earthbound's story is actually what sets it apart and gives it more. Like, an Undertale story is weird as fuck.
I'm so with you. What I'm saying is, I think it's a lot easier to meet expectations or exceed them when it comes to making a strategy game than when it comes to succeeding at making a weird story work.
Okay.
It's just harder. And I feel like to accomplish that, to then get the critical reception and then the sales reception, it's just there's so many more hurdles for an Earthbound than a Pikmin. And we're talking about Pikmin, a strategy game, like already a fairly niche genre in modern times. But the game sells great. There's that Nintendo factor. So Earthbound just needs to be good enough. And I think if an Earthbound came out, I think it'd be hitting. I think it crosses 1 million.
For sure.
But like, I don't think it's a guaranteed 3 million.
Really?
I think really don't.
I think it hits Pikmin numbers easy, if not succeed, like overtakes that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna think about this more. Though. Like now, I'm not thought too deep. Like, this is me freestyling this argument. But now that we've talked about it, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna come back to you.
Come back to me.
Yeah,
we'll talk later.
That should be a Gamescast topic. What is the weirdest game?
What is the weirdest, most successful game? Story number 5. Let's talk about Furi Demake. Furi Demake: The Chain is now available for PC. This is Sal Romano at Gamatsu. The game bakers in Sylph have released Furi Demake: The Chain, an 8-bit inspired remake of Furi's final boss fight for PC. Oh no, Furi's first boss fight, excuse me, for PC via Steam as a free download. This minigame is one boss fight. It is a 10 to 30 minutes fight for more with Furi or difficulty, or to get an S rank. I bring this up as a news story because I brought Furi up yesterday just as a deal of the day for you, because Furi, really cool indie game that came out a lot of years ago now at this point. Like, I want to say I played it
almost a decade.
Yeah,
which is 2014. I think.
Really weird to think about, because I feel like I played it just yesterday, right? Like, yeah, this game came out almost a decade ago. It's a boss rush action game. I compared the art style of it a bit to like an Afro Samurai, but like it very much has its own thing going on as well. A lot of bullet hell elements, but then also like once you close in on a boss, it kind of like changes the camera angle and you get into like this mano a mano like melee type fight. It's really cool, really fun. And yeah, like out of nowhere, they released this demake of it that is 2D pixel art. It's just like the first 30 minutes of the game, the first boss fight, but it's really cool. And so shout out to that.
Yeah, that's rad as hell. Love demakes.
And it's free, so go check it out. Story number 6. Resident Evil 4 Remake VR mode is releasing in December. This is Evan Campbell at GameSpot. You might never have the cool jacket or perfect hair of Leon Kennedy. They don't know who they're talking to.
I know. Jesus Christ.
They don't know they're talking to Tim Geddes. But you can go behind his eyes with the release of the Resident Evil 4 VR mode on December 8th. Capcom,
don't phrase it like that. What? I don't want to be behind Leon's eyes.
No, get behind his eyes.
This is weird.
Get behind his eyes. Capcom has announced the free add-on will arrive alongside a demo for all PSVR 2 owners on PS5 too. Resident Evil 4 VR mode features the entire main story of the game and includes 3D audio. In addition, Capcom notes there's also a shooting range to test out physical interactions with the various weapons in the game, like the iconic handgun or rifles. This shooting range mode will also be part of the free demo for PSVR 2 owners. Tim, are you excited for? Oh my God, this looks crazy.
You know what, man? I kind of am.
I'm looking at this trailer right now. I'm like, yo, this kind of looks really cool.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna replay through this game again, but I actually think I keep threatening that I'm going to borrow your PSVR 2.
Yeah.
But I think I might need to do that. I want to pop into
I'm pretty
this.
sure it's here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, yeah, that looks... I want to try that because I feel like... I know Resident Evil 4 is already in VR. But Resident Evil 4 Remake in VR?
Yeah.
I want to see what that looks like and how it plays. But, like, motion on. Like, what are we dealing with these days in terms of how am I moving around? Am I holding a DualSense? Am I just playing a normal game?
No, you're holding the Sense controllers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 2 DualSenses.
Yeah.
Turned
All
into
right.
medical.
But like, sorry, how am I moving though? How am I like?
Oh, I see. That's a good question. I think you're probably pressing forward on the analog stick, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Because you want the freedom of motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're doing that. You're clicking right and left to like shift right and left. You might do a little blink as you shift right and left. It's really cool. You know, it doesn't break the immersion at all. But you're also playing Resident Evil 4, which sounds pretty exciting. Story number 7, our final news story. Baldur's Gate 3 gets a huge patch. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Larian has released Baldur's Gate 3's hotly anticipated patch 5. Bear, did you add that?
I did think about adding a banana today. I have not added anything to this.
No way.
I'm 100% serious.
Hotly anticipated.
Are these the same website that's using the hotly anticipated? Oh, I digress. It doesn't matter.
Hotly anticipated.
Which adds loads of new content to the sprawling Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game. Patch 5 fixes slowdown issues caused by Patch 4, adds a brand new epilogue providing closure to each character's journey, and even new game modes. The new playable epilogue gameplay, accessible to all players loading the game prior to the final fight, takes place before the credits. Players find themselves in camp 6 months after the events of Baldur's Gate 3's story, where they meet new friends and old, taking all the time they need to say their goodbyes to the party. Larian calls this epilogue a final goodbye. Quote, for the writers of Larian, this final goodbye has been some of the most complex writing in the game so far, as it takes advantage of the game's reactivity across the entire adventure, the developer said. A gigantic tree of permutations defines the content, with new writing, 3,589 lines to be exact, cinematics, and even characters joining the get-together at camp organized by Withers, end quote. Elsewhere, Patch 5 adds 2 new game modes, Honor Mode and Custom Mode. Honor Mode makes the game more difficult in and out of combat and introduces over 30 new tweaks to all the game's boss fights with a new legendary action system designed to catch players off guard and increase the challenge. Now bosses can perform new actions, adding twists and turns to all major fights throughout the game, Larian said. Custom Mode, on the other hand, lets players pick and choose a type of experience best for them. Options include the ability to hide the required roll to succeed dice checks, which gives a more realistic D&D experience, as well as the ability to hide enemy HP in battle, again more closely simulating the tabletop style. Other options include short rests, fully healing the party, disabling death saving throws, and hiding failed perception checks, which means you'll never know there was even a roll to begin with.
Wow.
A huge update.
Yeah, this does sound hotly anticipated.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I think this is probably the most hotly anticipated thing on this Roper report, and so good on them.
Good on them.
Say hotly anticipated one more time.
Hotly anticipated.
Anticipated. I don't want to meet the maniac who looks at Baldur's Gate 3 and goes, "We need to make this combat more difficult." Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm on normal difficulty. And it's already kicking my ass. I understand that's me as somebody who's like, new to this kind of combat system. And I'm a casual.
That really scared me. I jumped out of my seat.
Greg Miller busted into the room, seemingly to get a coffee.
It's the door. It's the door.
I saw him bust through the room.
You saw him bust?
Yeah, through the door. Through the door, he busted.
Wow.
Yeah. The fact that you're like, I want more difficult Baldur's Gate 3. Never meet me.
Yeah.
If you see me on the streets, turn the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's really cool. The fact that they're adding like new stuff to all the fights, that's dope as hell. And yeah, like I'm somebody who, when I finally go back to Baldur's Gate 3, which I do periodically every now and then, I think I'm finally gonna go into the custom mode and figure out like how to tweak things to my favor. Because I've been told by people, just turn it to easy. I think Andy was like, "Yo, just turn it to easy. It'll be good for you."
Yeah.
And I'm too stubborn.
No shame, dude. Just do it, man.
I'm too stubborn. Like I've in the last few years, maybe in like the last 6-7 years, I can only think of like a couple of times where I've turned the game difficulty to easy because I was like, this is more enjoyable. One of those was Wolfenstein 2. Huh, when I turned when I turned Wolfenstein 2 to easy, and this is also, remember,
was this the last boss fight is why?
No, this is early in the game.
Really?
I didn't love the combat of Wolfenstein 2 until I turned it to easy. Because like this is the second half of 2017. If you remember, Nazis were in vogue back then. Like there were Nazis on the streets. I know there still are, right? But like 2017, they're about it. They had signs, and they're.
So what is this about? Making the game easier? You just wanted.
I wanted to mow down Nazis.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I wanted. Oh man, I was having a blast playing Wolfenstein 2 on easy mode.
Was another one of those games Alan Wake 2?
No, I let Alan Wake 2 rock. Which honestly, I probably should have turned Alan Wake 2 on easy.
I loved killing fools with just like 3 bullets and not an entire clip. It was great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other. I'm sure there's like 1 or 2 other games I probably turned to easy, but I refuse to do it for Baldur's Gate 3 for some reason. I think it's because whenever I do succeed in a combat scenario, it feels so good.
Yeah.
I love that feeling of succeeding, but I think there are some specific things about combat that I can see myself being like, I'm going to turn this off.
Not even worth it.
Yeah, not even worth it. And so, good on you, Larian, for
Good
the
on
update.
you.
Maybe you'll be nominated next year for best ongoing. We'll have
What's
to see.
next year? So far away.
It's so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to Mom and Grab shops today, where would I look, Tim?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. I missed the name, but somebody in chat was like, yeah, they were out here in tiki torches. And that's what I'm talking about. After I saw the tiki torches, I was like, I gotta pick up this Wolfenstein 2 game and mow down some of these motherfuckers.
Dude, they fucking, like,
I'm tired of these Nazis out here with their tiki torches.
You can't look at a tiki torch now and like feel good about it.
Right?
It's weird.
And like even like every time I get to January 6th now, I'm like, what a weird day.
Yeah, thank God our like kind of funny anniversary is January 5th.
Yeah.
But even that, it feels
It sounds too close.
bad.
It
Like every time I
sounds
bring it
weird.
up, every single time I say that date, people their first reaction is,
Like,
thank God it's not the 6th.
Yeah, where
it's
we on
like,
the 5th?
damn, man, we're on January 6th Eve.
Man. Out today, we got Biomutant for Switch, Gangs of Sherwood for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC, Hitman Blood Money Reprisal for iOS and Android, Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion Remastered for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, Toaster Ball for Switch, TEVI for PC and Switch, Pinball M for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. New dates for you. Turnip Boy robs a bank. Got delayed to January 18th, 2024.
Sick.
Leica Aged Through Blood launches December 5th on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, and PS5. The Switch version launches January 11th. New Cycle launches January 18th, 2024 in early access on Steam. Sons of the Forest leaves early access on February 22nd. The Rumblefish Plus launches December 21st on Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC. And then The Legend of Legacy HD.
What?
Remastered is coming. Why did you have HD and remastered in there? Was
Why
there
not?
already...
Why Legend and Legacy in the same title?
The Legend of Legacy HD Remastered is the name of this video game, which means there was a Legend of Legacy, then they made an HD version.
Yes.
And then they were like, it's been long enough, let's remaster it.
Yep.
Naughty Dog shit. Good for them.
Good for them.
What do you think is the next crime Turnip Boy is going to commit? Because he evaded tax evasion at first. Now he's going to rob a bank.
Wait, did he really avoid tax evasion?
That's the first one. Turnip Boy evades tax evasion.
And he
Or some
robbed a
shit.
bank?
Now he's
I
robbing
think the
a
next
bank.
one's just going to be Turnip Boy considers buying a tiki torch.
Oh,
He's not going in yet. He's not going full
no.
in. He's just considering it, you guys. He's just
Not the
considering it.
radicalization of... I butchered that word.
But yeah, The Legend of Legacy is coming to the West on March 22nd, 2024.
Read the entire title, Bless.
No, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. We got a big old deals of the day section for
Big ol'
you.
one.
Coming to Game Pass in December 2023, you got Remnant 1 and 2. Those are available now. You got Far Cry 6, Tin Hearts, Goat Simulator 3, Against the Storm, SteamWorld Build, Spirit of the North, While the Iron's Hot, Rise of the Tomb Raider, World War Z Aftermath, and then Clone Drone in
Clone
the
drone
Danger
in
Zone.
the danger zone. Okay,
They
cool.
just be naming games, dude. Prime Gaming,
God. Here we go.
3 titles for December have been revealed. You got Deathloop,
Now, what do we have next?
Epic Game Store. Oh, you got Aka R.
Spell it out.
That's AKKAARRH. Aka R. Aka R. You got Aground. You got Ciarama, World of Shipping. You got Combinera on Epic Game Store. You got a tiny. Which one is this? This is Aka R.
100% it's Aka R.
Oh, it's like an
Oh.
Atari game.
It's like an Atari game. What's wrong with us today, Bless? You look at the goddamn Atari logo. It's like an Atari game.
Listen, it's Friday, Junior.
It is.
All right, my brain's not in it today. The allergies are kicking my ass today.
Yeah.
It is so distracting. You try hosting a new show, meanwhile your nostrils are trying to escape.
The
It's
nasty
so tough.
nostrils. There we go.
Released at
Released
last. I'm actually very interested now in Akar. This looks pretty cool. Command the Sentinel. You got A Tiny Sticker Tale and then Asteroids Recharged. Those are all your Prime Gaming free titles for December. And then Epic Game Store's next free titles for December 7th through the 14th have been revealed. They are, I always mispronounce this one, Gigabash? Gigabash. And then Predecessor. Tim, now it's time for You're Wrong. Where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. IRR Gamer says Star Fox 2 was released on Nintendo Online December 12th, 2019.
Very cool. That's awesome. And yet, no Mother 3.
Get it on there.
Killian says the final F-Zero game to release before F-Zero 99 was a Japan-only GBA game called F-Zero Climax, a sequel to the GBA title F-Zero GP Legend, which was based off the anime.
Did you know there was an F-Zero anime?
No.
Did you know that it played after Kirby Right Back at You on Fox
No
Kids?
way.
And did you know that
I watched
that
Kirby
it
Right Back at
features
You.
a scene of Captain Falcon fucking playing chicken with another F-Zero racer, jumping out of his of the Blue Falcon and going Falcon Punch.
That's fucking awesome.
It's freaking awesome.
That's crazy because, yeah, I watched a lot of Kirby Right Back at You. So I don't know how I missed the F-Zero.
Why
thing.
does that not surprise me at all? That you are a Kirby Right Back at You guy.
It was right there. It was at the perfect time where I'll be watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Sonic X.
I mean, Sonic X was there too, but funny enough, didn't watch much Sonic X. You know, I think it was because I think the way it landed, because Kids WB was where more of my attention was, because that's where the exciting stuff was. That's where I was getting new Jackie Chan Adventures. That's where I was getting new Shaolin Showdown. I was getting new episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Shaolin Showdown.
Shaolin Showdown was my jam, but that's where I was getting those shows, right? Probably Static Shock, something like that. But those were all Kids WB. At the same time, you had Fox Kids doing its thing, and yeah, that's Kirby Right Back at You, and that's Sonic X and stuff. Kirby Right Back at You landed in the time of day where I didn't care. I was gonna watch it because Kids WB, they were showing some bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever I didn't care about was on at that time. Sonic X, probably at the same time as Jackie Chan Adventures. And I'm gonna go Jackie Chan Adventures.
Always. You gotta do it. Thank you, Barrett, for bringing this up. Like, it's just unnecessarily epic. And maybe not unnecessarily. Maybe this is exactly how much F-Zero fucking deserves in anime form. But like, look at
this. Looks ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane, man.
This is awesome. And then one more.
Can you, Barrett, can you do me a favor? Can you go to 38 seconds in? And then just watch this shit and turn the audio on.
I don't want to turn the audio on.
I think we'll be.
I don't want to get
YouTube.
I don't know who owns the rights to this anime.
It's on
it
YouTube.
might be Nintendo.
We'll be fine.
Oh my god. This is the most early 2000s thing.
Captain Falcon's helmet explodes off of him.
Like the particles and like the way it exploded, the most early 2000s
yeah,
thing
man.
I've ever seen in my life.
The best.
Good for them. And then Banner says, Barrett said, Turnip Boy evaded tax evasion. You cannot evade tax evasion. That is just paying taxes.
Very funny.
I think I said it right the first time, and then I fucked it up the second time.
That's it for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tomorrow's hosts for the show are going to be Mike and Andy. Of course, this has been KFGD each and every weekday live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Until next time, game daily.
Oh. Very cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I got to do something about these allergies, y'all. You know?
Greg Miller's going to join in my place.
Oh. What's up, chat? What's up, people? Andy's getting set up. Greg's in the other room. We'll come in a second. But, of course, write in with your YouTube super chats. And you know what? Write in with your Twitch hype chats. All right, let's make it worth both our whiles over on YouTube and on Twitch. Write in with your questions. We'll talk to you. We'll answer your questions. We'll have a good time. Me, Andy, Greg, and y'all.
Hello.
Andy, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, Bless.
Doing all
Thank
right?
you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I've seen better days. I'm not going to lie.
You opened your door and you was like, nah,
Yeah, it was one of those. I woke up and I was like, this ain't one of them
Looked at
days.
this guy and I was like, nah, I've
Yeah.
seen way better. Welcome in everybody for your Twitch Prime post show, super chat, hype chat, all of that stuff. You want your questions read. You want your questions answered. Whether it's a game of the year question, whether it's Greg, what's the best brand of stuff you stick with when you go to a Home Depot?
Oh, DeWalt.
Home Depot.
DeWalt.
Yeah, the yellow and black attack. You know what I mean?
I like
on now. Yeah.
I like knowing that like that's something you would have never ever cared or thought about 15 years ago.
Yeah,
And now when you go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's, you're like,
Nothing
I'm looking
makes
for my
me
brand.
more unsettled than being inside a Home Depot.
it smells so good
Fuck,
though.
I hate it here. I fucking hate this place. I'm gonna buy stuff. I won't even use it. I'm just trying to fix something. I don't know what I'm doing. Kill me.
It smells so
Kill
delicious.
me. I hope the lumber stuff falls on me and kills me, so I don't have to.
Oh
do it.
wow.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
I
Jesus
woke up on the
Louise.
wrong
Get me
side of
out
the bed
of
today.
this.
I thought I was having a bad day.
Oh, I want to thank.
You had a bad day? You had a bad day?
No, it's just allergies.
Oh
Make
yeah.
it tough to talk.
Yeah, that happens.
Are you taking Zyrtec? Are you taking?
I took Zyrtec this
little
morning.
Mucinex.
I
or
took a
something?
little chewable Zyrtec this morning.
Oh.
And I tried Claritin. It didn't do much for me either. Somebody said try Allegra, and so maybe I'll try some Allegra later.
That's a good third dark horse option that I kind of forget about.
Yeah,
that exists.
but I also want to buy an air filter because I think it's something up with my apartment.
You should. I have one.
They ever get all that mold out of your apartment?
Well, that wasn't my apartment. Well, unless they're just making it a bit.
No,
about
I mean,
mold.
when your house didn't your whole like apartment building flood?
It did flood. Yeah.
Did they get the mold out of the downstairs? I know it didn't get up to like your house.
I never checked about that. That's a good question.
Yeah, you might want to look into it.
You got some
look
clickers
into
living
that.
downstairs. I want to thank the Radio Carter for 17 months using your Prime.
The Radio Carter. Video kill the Radio Carter.
In my day, in my car. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, and we would love it if you gave us your Twitch Prime. It's free for you. It takes a second to set up and just link those two accounts. And again, let me just pre-warn you all and pre-prepare
Okay.
everybody for the holidays. You're going to be, linking up with a lot of different relatives.
We having sex.
Making out in the, after
the
Christmas
relatives.
lunch, it's like let's go to the garage over there and just see
With
what's
the
up.
relatives,
Christmas
Andy?
lunch.
Everything happens.
Jesus,
all of it's
holidays
gonna be
are
happening.
insane.
Listen, second cousin. Come on now. Kissing cousins.
While all of these activities are taking place, everybody's got to have an Amazon Prime.
Yep.
You're gonna meet a lot of relatives with Amazon Prime. Just link it up for them. It'll take 2 seconds for them, and you could help out our little baby company here in San Francisco, independently owned and operated. Thank you very much, everybody. Ronin's 2 months of Prime Gaming support says, shout out to Sad Boy. Sea of Stars was GOAT. Anything else I would enjoy playing with similar combat on Xbox? Don't say Chained Echoes. You better not say it, Barrett.
I've never played Chained Echoes, so I wouldn't know.
I get recommended that a lot, Barrett.
Oh.
Can I toss one out?
Let
Can I
me
toss out some?
ruminate on that for a little bit, specifically on Xbox. Right?
Immediately, I think Costume Quest. Of course, that had an active turn-based battle system similar where you had to do stuff in the middle of it.
Is that on Xbox?
Yeah. More recently, WrestleQuest. If you like wrestling at all, they had the exact same thing where you have to like be in the moment, reverse, do these things, go in there, throw them off the ropes and shit.
I say buy a Switch and play Mario RPG.
I didn't realize they asked the two of you guys to.
Yeah, and then
Well,
also
we're prepared for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no,
You're a
we're
normie.
we're
You sit back there and
professionals.
go, oh, let
You're
me
taking-
think.
room
Did
and-
either
think.
of you beat Sea of Stars?
You're taking
Ooh, let
10
me
minutes
think,
over
he
here to
says.
think.
Oh, hold on a
Oh,
second.
man, I'm
Oh,
barely.
I
Barrett,
want to give a
Let me
good
start
answer, not
writing
just
some
throw
stuff down.
out
Let me
whatever
start
came
writing
out of my
down some
ass.
stuff. You know what he's doing?
Barrett,
He's
you believe
Googling
it.
what is Sea of Stars. This guy doesn't know.
Games like
He
Sea of
heard-
Stars.
He heard the fucking besties say it's a great game.
I can't
Oh
believe.
shit! Oh no, the mic's got muted. Oh shit!
I can't believe they're talking so much shit about you right now.
I
God,
can.
understand.
That's all they want to do.
I can't
I do
believe
so
they're
much for this
talking
fucking
so
companies.
much shit to you right now,
Yeah.
but ruminating this fucking guy, dude.
Oh no, they're all muted now.
I want to thank Now What's Good for 64 months of resubscription.
Wow.
Using your Prime on
the
us.
Nintendo number.
That is the Nintendo number. And you said nice. Thank you. Thor, 76 months resubscribing with Prime. Arden Rye, 43 months of resubscription with Tier 1. Not a Prime. They pulled out their wallet. They pulled out their little pocketbook, their little checkbook. They signed a check. They sent it to Jeff Bezos. Thank you for your Tier 1 resubscription. Again, shout out to the Radio Carter says, Merry Game Awards season. And to you too. And back to you. No, you gotta stay. I gotta harmonize.
So I'm used to being a solo act. I'm not used to it.
I
Sorry,
got
sorry.
you. Zachy G74. 3 years of support. Thank you, Zachy G, for 3 years of support. Can you diglet? Resubscribe with Prime for 25 months and says, Andy, if you're reading this, keep being great. Thank you. Let me tell you yesterday, man. That Midnight Mass show pretty good. Everybody should
Real
watch
good.
that.
Yeah.
I'm so
Everybody
glad
should
you
watch
came in
that.
with the correct opinion that it was good and that Nick sucks.
Oh my God. I'm halfway through watching episode 3, just gripped. Fucking just gripping. gripping and
oh,
ripping.
shit.
And like just completely captivated by these awesome monologues, these great little conversations.
Monologues are great.
And I'm watching, I'm just like, and I kind of like looked at the channel, I was like, Nick never got past episode 4. What is wrong with this child's rotted brain?
Idiot.
Where he cannot stay. He needs, me and Roger were making fun of him that he needs to have like a Subway Surfers on the bottom. He needs to have like a Minecraft speed run on the bottom of Midnight Mass to kind of.
You joke with the amount of
stay
shows
watching
I would
it.
watch if I could have that feature.
TikTok, baby.
Feel that.
I would get through so many shows.
Tom G 1013 with 56 months of resubscription using Prime. Thank you for using your Prime on us, Tom G. El Capitan $5 super chat. Thank you. El Capitan says, I think an Earthbound remake is an easier sell than Xenoblade series. The latter requires a love for anime, while Earthbound's gameplay is more Pokemon.
Did you catch him all?
Xenoblade is so popular and so loved that I don't know if I would say it's an easier sell than Xenoblade, but I do think that it would be successful. I think I think to the point of the combat is so simple in Earthbound and like the art style is so unique and fun. I think there's an audience there.
I think it's in that Half-Life 3 sort of like, where is this game? Where, like that Earthbound is such a myth. It's such a, when are we going to see it? When are we going to get that big game? When is this game actually going to happen? And I feel like that on hype alone would be an easier sell.
Yeah.
I
get that. I want to believe, because I honestly, when you say it out loud, right, like Earthbound remake, and I could see the reveal at the end of a Nintendo Direct, in my head I'm like, that just feels like a huge title. But also like the fact that Earthbound's been dormant for so long, and it is more of a weirder, quirky thing. It is a bit, like it is a bit niche. I don't know. I think for Nintendo, the tough thing is that it's such a question mark. I think an Earthbound could sell anywhere from 3 million to maybe, if you do it perfectly, 10 million. Like I think you could have it get up there, but it's just a matter of, are people gonna get it? Are people gonna be excited about it? Like best case scenario.
Yeah.
I think that's the ceiling. I don't think you get above 10 million, but I think like if everything lines up and people
What do you
play
expect in Mario RPG to sell?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
I'm going to say
I'm gonna
3.5.
I'm gonna say 5 to 6.
Right
million.
on the dot.
Yeah.
Right on the dot.
But I think Earthbound has like more of a mythic quality than Mario RPG.
It's got this legend.
I think it's got a mythic thing to us, the gamers, the people listening or watching the podcast. I don't think the mainstream's going to care. There's a lot of mainstream Switch players out there.
Fair.
Same thing. I don't think they'll care about Mario RPG. I think that's going to be on the lower end of that.
Once again, Greg's right, man.
As usual.
As usual. I want to thank Richard Freer for a $5 super chat. No message.
Dick Freer.
Dick Freer. Huh. Yeah.
That's the first thing I
You know what? Yeah.
The job
Once
interview.
again, Greg is right.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Freer. Oh, please call me Richard. Dick Freer? How many dicks you free today? And then just walk out.
Well, I don't even know if that's how you pronounce your last name is the thing.
Oh, well, I can't see it. I'm just going, you say
It's like,
Freer.
it could be Fryer.
Ew,
know.
Dick Fryer. Do you eat him after you do that?
Dear Sixlet, thank
Richard's
you for...
never had these jokes before.
I don't
Thank
even
you
know
for the thank you for the $5 super chat, Dear Sixit. And again, Richard, no message, just wanted to support the company.
I appreciate
Greatly
that.
appreciate that. Dear Sixit with a $5 super chat says, I think Suicide Squad actually looks like it'll be fun to play. What are some games you guys have thought would be trash but wound up really enjoying? I'll say, like, this is a callback to earlier this year. When we all got our hands on Wild Hearts, I was like, I don't need this added weird gimmick to Monster Hunter. And I had I poured in so many hours into Wild Hearts. I had a great time with it.
I would toss out Outriders. Not a 10 out of 10, but a game we all like, whatever. And then play, fuck, this is actually fun to
Dude,
play.
I had a blast with Outriders.
Sonic
blank.
Mania. Because, no Sonic game is good.
Ever
Sonic
like-
Mania,
Hey.
pretty good game.
We need a mute button For Barrett's mic. For us. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of hearing this man talk.
As I'm agreeing with Bear, like, yeah, we do for sure.
Mute button for Andy too. Tired of hearing this guy talk.
Chris, did you have an answer?
No, I'll think about it.
Are you doing the alpha
I'll
for
answer in a
Suicide
random
Squad,
question.
Andy?
What's up?
Are you doing the alpha for Suicide Squad?
I would love to,
Yeah.
if possible.
I mean, I think it's already happening.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it's going on right now.
Yeah, people are
I
signing
signed
up.
up for it.
Oh, you signed up?
Check your email.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Dropkick Tondo. Almost a full year. No, you do have a full year. You have 60 months, but almost a full year in a row using Prime. Again, Twitch is going to remind you about Prime. They want you to forget. They want you to stand by and sit idly and not speak up. And you need to make sure you hit that little calendar reminder and say, use my Prime again, or else it's going to go to waste. And that's $5 that a creator out there could have had. Gunham Steven.
Duke Dustin says he has an extra code. I'll send it to you.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great. I really want to hop in. Gundam Steven.
Gundam.
Because I'm scrolling TikTok and I'm already seeing, here are the best builds that you can use day one in Justice League, fucking Suicide Squad, all
kill
those
them
games.
all.
Yeah. I fucking hate, man, those videos. Like,
Sure.
I just can't do it. I just hate that that's what gaming has devolved into. Gaming.
Wait, those videos are already coming out?
No.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's under embargo, but like,
yeah, I was going to say.
like the
Yeah,
day
but-
one of any game. Here's the best ship you can get in Starfield right now. Thank you, Gundam Steven, for
you make those videos,
93 months. No, you're a liar. Tier 1 subscribing for 93 months. That's a long time, Gundam Steven. Thank you. Says, let's go. Love you guys. Pour one out for Gundam Evolution. It was shut down today.
Damn.
Man, I remember like having a blast, and that fucking, the one from Iron Blooded Orphans, that dude just, that whatever class, it was like the most OP class, and everybody would pick it, and everybody would dominate you with it. It's like, I don't want to give in to the meta. It's just the worst. You know the guy. Fucking
I know. I
big
know you're
sword.
talking about. Yeah.
Barbados. There we go. Thank you, Chris Franz, for 9 months of Tier 1
Franz
resubscription.
Ferdinand.
Dun, 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 dun. That was a cool song,
Yeah,
dude.
I know I won't be leaving here
Yeah.
with
got some pipes, Greg.
I know, man.
You got some pipes. CJ Splits on with a $2 super chat. Says, would you mind Liza P. Devs making Bloodborne 2?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really like. I'm cool with them trying to make something similar, but I like as authentic of an experience as that was, it really does feel. It would feel to me like, hey, somebody else, hey, whatever creator is known for that one IP, have somebody else do it. It's like what I want. I want Miyazaki to be a part of the vision and the lore and everything, unless he's like heavily involved or something.
Yeah, for me, I think Liza P shines because of the differences it has from Bloodborne. Like, obviously, it tries to go for that kind of aesthetic and all that stuff, but the fact that they were able to take the Pinocchio stuff and the automaton enemies and like Krat as a setting and have those things to make it different, for me, that's actually why I look at it and I'm like, oh man, even though this is a Bloodborne-like game, I can still enjoy it as an individual experience as well. If they try to make Bloodborne 2, I think they would get into the trouble of us now drawing all the comparisons to Bloodborne and just being like, oh, but this isn't as good because, you know, this system is worse and this and their take on this isn't as good. And like, I think the more you have those direct comparisons, the more they would end up faltering. But, you know, I'm excited for whatever they do next, right? Like if they do another Liza P style game, I think that allows them to continue to stand alone and continue to like find the unique things that make that studio. I think that's more exciting.
I think they definitely found their niche and like, we're going to continue to crush this and make games that are going to be challenging from software in terms of just like the overall package of, is this a good video game?
Andy, who's the person who wrote in about Sea of Stars?
Great question. It was Ronin's.
I've got the perfect answer for you, Ni no Kuni 2. Slightly different combat system, but if you're looking for that like kind of nice JRPG type of hit, the good vibe, I think that'll be the one for you.
Ni no Kuni.
Ni no no.
We got Nigel Martin with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Nigel Martin. How in God's name is Destiny nominated for Best Ongoing Game and Halo Infinite is not? The Destiny update this year had a middling reception while Halo is getting way better with every update. Andy?
Yeah, great call.
Yeah, I talked about that on Gamescast. I think the Halo update was just a little bit too late when a lot of these nominations may have been happening. And a lot of that just comes down to, is it going to fall into that window? Is it?
I think the well's
Is it on
poisoned on
everybody's
Halo
mind?
too. Yeah, the well's poisoned. So how many people do you have that are actually actively playing Halo and are like, hey, it's great now? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm going to pull this off. It's either a fingernail or a feather. It's a feather.
I think the update did happen, but not enough word had gotten around about it. You know,
yeah,
it's like
I think that's exactly what it was.
especially for outlets like us where we don't have a dedicated Halo person.
Mike.
You'll see updates come around and be like, is that one worth hopping into? Should I go check it out again? And it can get a little bit difficult to keep up and then find out that, oh shit, everybody's talking about this update and it actually is incredible. A lot of that comes down to, I think, just timing. Another thing I keep thinking about with Game Awards stuff is like, if your games as a service game comes out a little too soon and has enough of a window to then dip for fans to complain.
The sour.
Yeah. Like every game, like if your game comes out extremely hot and everybody's
If Game Awards would have been in August, Diablo would have been nominated for more things.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that just comes down to the games as a service games. If you're not pumping out enough stuff fast enough, and even if you're not, but if your game comes out like last month or a month and a half ago, and it's fresh on everybody's mind that, whoa, this game's a service came out and it kicks ass, and then it wins an award maybe this year, and then maybe in January everybody's like, where's the fucking content? Like a lot of games kind of sometimes don't have time to go through that full roller coaster cycle, you know?
I also think that like a lot of it is popularity too. Like you look through the best ongoing nominees and it's the same year for year, right? It is Fortnite, Final Fantasy 14. Now it's Genshin, right? That's in there. Destiny, right? I think Cyberpunk being in there is a unique thing because that's a popular game, right? And like a lot of people were looking forward to the DLC and for 2.0. But you know, typically when you look at the games that are on there are games that have the audience and have had the audience have a large built-in audience over the years. And so when it's time to nominate, I think most outlets are going to end up being like, well, most of us have played, when we talk about ongoing things, most of us here are probably playing or have played Fortnite. Most of us here are either playing or have played Final Fantasy 14. Most of us are playing or either have played Genshin Impact. And that's kind of how you get here year over year, where these games don't go away, right? They kind of just stick around. And
because you see the updates, you know things are dropping.
Yeah.
Maybe it's cool, maybe it's not.
and
but
it also just has the most mind share, the most people to speak on it.
of course.
Like if we went around in the studio of what is the most, I guess like what would we think for ongoing game? I would
DC
think
Universe
that.
Online.
Well, yeah, of course. That'll be number one, and then number two, I'll think like Call of Duty
Fortnite.
Warzone or
Okay.
something like that, right? It's the mainstays.
Yeah, we should also start as a collective also putting games like Valorant in there, because Valorant's always getting updates with maps and all sorts of support, and Riot's always very good about kind of keeping customers engaged with brand new content. Framer 23 months of Prime Game resubscriptions asks Andy, Midnight Mass 30-second review. Rahul, I couldn't tell you were British. I thought you did a great job there. Let's see here. Everybody got younger and hotter. I understand. A lot of people in chat were saying, I understand why Nick doesn't like this show.
Got him.
But amazing show. That's a 10 out of 10. And again, that pastor guy should have been nominated for every goddamn award
Were you scared?
ever. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in the moments that did happen, I just think it was like a quantity thing. If, in the way that Alan Wake throws at you a bajillion jump scares, I think that the moments that they did play with tension and fear were like, I was like, oh man, if there's going to be a lot of this is going to suck. 'Cause
Yeah.
even these moments where a guy's looking at an open door at night and he goes, hello. And you hear the same voice go back, hello. And I was like, oh no, this is awful. Like, I want nothing to do with
What a
whatever's
show.
happening here. Dude, what an amazing show. Let's see here.
We got to get you in one of them, because once you're in with Mike Flanagan, you're set. You have a job every year. You could just live off that.
God, I mean, I'm looking at the other actors opposite of Rahul Kohli. I'm
You're like, these are
dude,
garbage.
Rahul's
Why
like,
can't
no, opposite.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
like,
sorry.
Rahul's like, it feels like he's 7'3" sometimes, and everybody else is the same size as him.
they?
There's a lot of tall people in these.
There's a lot of
shows.
Apple boxes.
A lot of Apple boxes. Apple boxing jeans.
Hey, Boons, with the
SA Spring, 2 months of resubscription in a row, but that's 32 months total. Thanks for using the Prime on us. VM Games, 93 months. Pixel Garage, 18 months, both with Prime. Thank you, VM Games and Pixel Garage. Johnny and Dasha with a $5 super chat says, just want to shout out Bless's super dope shirt.
Thank you.
Look at these fucking pectorals.
Oh, dude, that's me going to the gym.
Look at them little titties.
Chop 'em.
Feeling good.
Chop 'em.
Minseo, 3
take a
months.
chop.
3 months of Prime Gaming. Says, have some time during the holidays. I have some time during the holidays. What's a must-play recommendation from each of you before year's end?
Venba.
Ooh,
2 hours.
for the holiday.
Yeah, a lot of it kind of depends on what you're looking into and what you haven't played yet.
Yeah.
I'd say like Cocoon's a cool like under 10-hour experience. You know, I know that's not what they're asking for. Like,
Ooh, I'm gonna say, get Dreams and play Tren.
That's a good one.
if you have more than 10 hours, play Chance of Sinar.
SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake.
If you have a lot of time, if you're bored, play some Liza P. It's gonna take you like 40 hours though.
Legit answer though, because I don't think enough people talk about it. Planet of Lana, which came out around Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't think enough people play that game. It's very good.
From SoftServe with a $2 super chat says, Bloodborne's pretty amazing, right? Yeah. I'm trying real hard to get a modded PS5 that runs at 80p,
I'll mod
60
it for you.
frames per second. Greg, who had a breakdown because his monitor wouldn't work. I can't imagine Greg trying to open up the PS5 and be like, oh my God. Like,
I've opened many PS5 S Plus.
He speedran mine.
Ninja Roku, 19 months of Prime Gaming. Timmy Buddy, 38 months. And Wolf Geek, 10 months. All with Prime. Thank you for using your Primes on us, everybody. Manic Pixel, $2 super chat. Remember the Borderlands movie? Do we see it at the Game Awards?
Jesus.
I always forget about the Borderlands
Right?
movie. God damn.
I brought it up on a Games Daily, I think, with Tim, because it was one of those where Bobby Lee is being interviewed about one of his experiences on the set
Is
with
it the
Jamie
one
Lee
where
Curtis.
they all like walked away from him or whatever?
Yeah, because he said like some stupid, inappropriate joke. And
This is memorial for all these
yeah, and he
dead-
was like, I don't belong with these these superstars. Why am I here? But it was that video that I was like, I kind of forget that that's a thing that happened, and it's fully filmed. And
They were doing big reshoots at some point, I remember. It was a news story.
Every time I think about it, I think about the
Randy
E3
Pitchford.
where Randy Pitchford went
Talking
and
to Kevin
interviewed
Hart.
Kevin Hart and how ridiculous of a scenario that was.
Patrick Hogue, $5 super chat. Hey, folks, what do you think will be more likely to be announced next year? Ghost of Tsushima 2 or an infamous remake?
Oh,
Ghost of Tsushima
yeah,
too.
Ghost of Me. I don't know when you'll ever see an infamous remake, if you'll ever see one.
Doubt it.
I'd be shocked.
Here's what I'm going to say right now.
Andy Layden.
I have a feeling like there is an infamous remake already being developed.
I
Whoa.
wish.
And that's going to be the thing to kind of bring in some money for the studio, smaller team.
Bring
maybe
in some
a third
$5.
party.
Let's do it.
Maybe a smaller team is doing it. Maybe it's not even
Sucker
like
Punch is already
internal.
so small though.
Well, that's
Like,
why
they're not.
maybe this is a
This is just Andrew
maybe
Goldfarb.
this is a Blue Point situation.
Just Goldfarb.
Maybe this is like a third party studio that is just working on this remake, and that's something that like
I
hey,
don't think
while we're
you'll-
working hard on this here's something that
I
we
don't think
work-
you'll ever see a remake. At best, you'll see a remaster of 1 and 2 in a collection. But I don't even think you'll get that.
Yeah.
At this point, like they're in bed with Marvel. What do they care about their?
That's
other
my thing is
superhero
I think if you want money, if you're gonna like go back and remaster something or remake something, I think there are a lot of options before you get to Infamous. And I think Infamous then gets into competition with Spider-Man, which Spider-Man has taken the entire mind share of superhero video games now.
What if it's Spider-Man : Infamous and they cross over? It turns out he was there the whole time.
Whoa.
Cole McGrath is the guy,
Don't
right?
do that,
That's right,
Spider-Man.
yeah, Zeke.
That is such a
Keep Spider-Man
he's
pure.
such a BMX writer name.
Sure.
Cooper, $5 super chat. Andy, I have an extra code for Suicide Squad. Let me know if you want it. Oh, yes, I do. I think you were the one who mentioned that earlier, but thank you, Cooper.
No,
for
it's
your-
somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
shoot.
take the Cooper one.
Yeah, DM me and Greg. Thank you, Cooper, for your $5 super chat. Billy is
If
fun.
there's a third code for Suicide Squad, hit me up.
Billy is fun. 32
Let's
months.
break the embargo. See the stream.
42 months total. Thank you, Billy is fun, for your tier 1 love. Jay Strone, $5 super chat. In honor of the Nitro Rifle's success yesterday, what's the first and last shows you binged whole seasons of? It's Sons of Anarchy for me and Succession.
The first and last things you binged?
I don't know what the first thing I binged was.
A crazy question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would toss
Breaking
in
Bad,
there.
Yeah.
Okay, Smallville. Back in college, Smallville. I had missed the first 2 seasons, or the first season and a half, and so a guy burned them all to me, and I just did it in my room.
I think it may have been Breaking Bad for me.
And the
'Cause
latest thing,
I was just speeding through
Ooh.
it for the final season coming back from break.
I think the most recent thing was probably Mob Psycho last year for me.
I think the first thing actually might have been before Breaking Bad, either Dexter or Psych. I think one, like I definitely binged through both of those. I forget which one I did first, but I definitely like. I had an era. The latest one, Insecure. I binged through season 2 of Insecure.
I feel like maybe House of Usher, me and Jen did in a long weekend.
Dexter's the murderer.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but he only kills other murderers. That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Like Jigsaw, I hate murderers.
Yep.
I didn't see that.
I don't think he even hates them. I think it's just like he has a murderous tendency. Like he has to kill people because he's a serial killer and he's fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
And the way he justifies it is by only going after murderers.
His cop dad was able to recognize that he was super fucked up, and he'd probably like with the signs that he was showing as a kid of like behavioral instincts. He was like, "All right, I'm going to teach you to only kill other serial killers."
Yeah, but like it's not the fact that he wants justice. When he's killing them, he's obsessed with the blood and the blood splatter, and like he's going through his own ritual, and he's fucking into it. It's dark. It's really
It's
good.
like whenever you name a show after a guy with one name,
You're like, that guy's not gonna be a good person.
I just always
Dexter's got a name.
like I think of
He's
the
got a
name
last name.
Chuck, or I think of the show Chuck.
Yeah.
And so like,
Zach Levi.
but very, very different show, right? But like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you're naming a show after a murderer, I don't know if you should name it after the murderer because it doesn't. It feels like a sitcom on NBC when you just
Gotcha.
have a name, Life with Mindy or whatever. What was that
That's
show?
more than just
Mindy
that's more
Project?
than just a name.
That's the one.
Life with Mindy.
Life with Mindy and Mark. Astro DK 81 months. Thank you, Astro DK. And we're gonna wrap these final ones up.
I will say some people in chat were saying that the last few seasons of Dexter are really bad. You guys are absolutely right. But there was a reboot, like a 1-season reboot of Dexter that came out recently. Decent. Yeah. A strong okay.
Wait, shut the fuck up. Monk is the guy's name?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Monk is incredible.
Tony
Wait, is
Shalhoub,
that,
man.
is that what you're
Come
talking
on.
about?
Yeah, I just never knew that was his name. I
Yeah.
thought it was like
Luigi in cars.
he's a monk.
Yeah. No, his name is Monk. Yeah.
He's a detective though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian Monk.
Oh, he's like super.
He's got
germaphobe.
OCD. Yeah.
Germaphobe, that's right.
Yeah.
Dance Floor Demon, thank you for your 82 months of Prime Gaming. And the final one from Lyric Spencer with a $10 super chat. No message. Just showing love. Thank you, Lyric.
Thanks for love.
And one final one. Greg, have you enlightened the spare bedroom about the Portillo's Cake Shake? That's from G. Cianelli using Prime.
I mean, yeah, anybody who goes to Portillo's knows my order. I put up that video a long, long time ago that we filmed in the early days of Kinda Funny of Greg Miller's recommended Portillo's order that has the cake shake in there. Of course, we are hamstrung by the fact there is no Portillo's in San Francisco, but we did meet and greets back in the day. Arizona, we did a Portillo's meet and greet down in Buena Park sometimes. But, you know, COVID put an end to giant travel things, so we haven't done one recently. So Blessing has never had a cake shake.
I think actually, I guess I'm not. I've been to Portillo's a few times. I don't think I ever got the cake shake. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you for joining us for this Primetime Super Chat post show. Appreciate all of your support. We're going to go into the lab to continue our just awful, really bad adventure in Ark Survival Ascended. It's actually a really cool game, and me, Nick, and Mike have our sea legs. Last time a big brontosaurus got real mad at us because it got stuck in our domicile. It was a big war happened between us and a big brontosaurus. We'll see you then. This is our 700th stream.
Seventh
So come celebrate with us. Goodbye, everybody.
700th.
700.
I said 100th.